Are we recording now, or is that just testing?
We are recording.
Okay.
We're live.
We're live now?
We're live.
Oh, shit.
Oh, hey, you cussed. You first. You cussed. So if Mom says anything,
20 push-ups.
or her.
Matt, I don't know. Matt
What's
likes
up,
to hear himself cuss.
Thanks,
He just likes it.
Hey, man, why am I so quiet? I gotta be.
Well, okay. So now you're on a dynamic mic.
What
So
does that mean? I gotta be right here.
no.
So you gotta talk directly into the middle.
After
I gotta
like
talk
2
right
months of podcasting, you thought Matt would have learned something about mics.
This
No.
is a new mic, bro. I never. Shit, this thing's like.
You have to talk directly on it.
There's dynamic
Like
and
right here?
omni.
Like this.
Yeah.
How's that? Dang.
Yeah, like you're gonna catch corona by
So does
touching
this
it?
mean this is my mic?
That is your mic. Yeah.
Because dude, I'm like right on it. Like my tongue's on it.
Yeah, should I- that's what she-
Yeah. I'm probably gonna have to cut that
No,
out.
I'm not saying it.
Oh, this kid. So this is episode 13 of Los Mariachi Sagas. It's 13, right, Matt?
Yeah, 13.
All right,
13 weeks.
You can keep track of it.
That's cool.
All right, so we're here with Adolph Ortiz. Right now we're recording at Matt's place. Here we've got Matt, Adolph, and myself. Adolph, introduce yourself a little bit.
My name is Adolph Ortiz.
Adolph is shy.
Yeah, now that we're recording, I told you I'm gonna go shy. No, Adolph Ortiz, director of Mariachi Relampago. I used to be a teacher out here in the Hayes School District at Chapa and Simon middle schools, and then Lehman High School. Now I just teach elementary. Actually, I don't teach elementary. I teach middle school. I teach 6th grade, and but I still do mariachi with Mariachi Relampago.
And you've been doing mariachi quite a while.
I've been doing it quite a while. Yeah, since I was 13 years old, I've been doing mariachi. So that was with Mr. Castro's junior high program at Fulmore. Back then it was junior high. Now it's a middle school, but it was junior high back then, 7th and 8th grade only. So I started then.
So then you said you started with Zeke Castro.
Yes, sir.
So then you started with Alex, who was our guest last week.
Alex was a generation before me. So I went into the program at Fulmore in like 1984, 85, somewhere around there. So Alex was a few years, he's going to get mad. He's a few years older than me. He actually went to school with my brothers, and I came after him, one generation after him in the school programs.
Oh, that's right. Your brothers, they play, don't they? Or they used to.
One of them played. He's a trumpet player. He played with Alex. In fact, they used to be partners in Relampago before, and in Estrella for a little while. And then, but he doesn't play, my brother, anymore. He'll come out of retirement once in a while if I'm desperate or anyone's desperate for a trumpet. He'll come out and play.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
He'll come out of retirement.
He'll come out of retirement if we have to.
Yeah.
You're born and raised Austin, Texas.
Born in San Marcos.
Oh, born in San Marcos.
Raised in Austin. Yes, pretty much when I was about 2 or 3 years old, we moved to Austin, and so I'm pretty much an Austinite. Because all my life, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Wow.
Same here.
Same.
I don't know if see, I was raised in Austin. Actually, I was born in Austin, and then moved to Niederwald area.
Niederwald, yeah.
And then that's when I came to Kyle in the 3rd grade.
Yeah.
But I don't know where I'm from.
I don't remember when we came to Austin. No, just teasing. But yeah, I was real little. I could have been when I was like 1 year old too. I just remember. I know for sure, memory in my head.
Yeah.
I remember the house we were in about 2 or 3 years old. I could start having those vivid little memories of what the house was like.
What?
And
I
stuff.
can't remember before I was like 7.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Little things,
Yeah.
Because I went to like not pre-K, but like a daycare there in East Austin.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that daycare, and I was like only like 3 years old going to that one and stuff. So just, yeah, I remember vivid little things of the East Side. East Side, back when it was real East Side.
So growing up, like what inspired you to be like in mariachi or like to take the class?
I was afraid you were going to ask me that question because
You got to.
because I tell people the story and they're like, what, So I started playing guitar when I was like 10 years old, and I was just playing bass lines, just playing it. I wasn't really playing mariachi. And first instruments I played really were like ukulele, and I was just dabbling on it because we had them in the house. But like I said, in the mariachi program in our junior high, you had to be in 8th grade. You had to be a band member, or an orchestra member, or a choir member to be in the mariachi program. And it was a course that was offered every other day. You went to PE one day and mariachi. And so what happened was my brother and sister were in mariachi, and my mom's like, you got to join mariachi. I want you to be in mariachi with them. And I'm like, you know what? I want to learn more of the guitar, so I'm going to go join it so I can play the guitar. So I joined it, and, truth be told, you're around out-of-tune violins, you're around people that don't know their instrument. It didn't sound good at all, but I got to play my guitar, so I was excited. And then Mr. Castro was like, hey, we're going to switch guitar players to guitarrón and vihuela. Anyone want to switch? And he looked at me and said, you're going to switch. And I went, okay, if I'm going to switch, I'm going to play that little bitty guitar, and all that. Because I didn't want to play guitarón because I saw tuba players in band, and I hated the thought of taking some big instrument home all the time. Because I'm a practice-holic. Oh, so I knew I was going to practice. I'm not going to take that home every day to practice.
Yeah.
So I got into it, and I was actually going to quit after 8th grade mariachi, but my mom begged me, said, if you play mariachi, I'll have 1 year of all 4 of y'all in high school, or 3 of y'all, because the other one graduated, but 3 of y'all play together in mariachi. So please do it, please, please. And so I love Mom. Okay, Mom, I'll do it. So I did it, and it was still a little rough around the edges, but that year is when I heard Alex tell his stories. That year I heard Mariachi Cobre live. I heard, at the time, Estrella live. I heard, and that was a local group. I heard Mariachi Vargas and all that. And I thought, okay, now I know what mariachi is.
Yeah.
And now I know what to shoot for. And so I got really into it, and I got excited about it and started learning it. I also started learning guitarrón because I saw that the importance of the guitarrón. They needed a guitarrón to go to San Francisco, even though I was a freshman. And they were going to go on a trip because of no pass, no play back in our day. And they needed one. They said, hey, can you learn it? I learned it like that. And then
2 weeks.
2 weeks. And then, but the sad part about San Francisco was I didn't get to go because San Francisco said, we're only going to take you if you are a multicultural group. So Tony Thompson, who had already graduated from Travis, got called back to go with the high school group, and I got pulled out.
Oh, man. Tony got to go.
So I learned guitarrón for no reason.
I want to say no reason.
Served you well.
Yeah. It served me well. So it was all cool, and it's cool because, Tony was more experienced too. I think the group at the time would have had more confidence knowing that he was there because I just learned the guitarrón, and so, unfortunately, it just was a better thing for them, and for me, unfortunately, it sucked. But at least I learned the guitarrón, and then I became the guitarrón at Travis for a couple of years, and then finally he said, "Hey, Adolph, I remember you played vihuela. Can we move to vihuela? We had chingos of guitarrón now." And I was like, "Yeah, moving back to vihuela." So, and then I moved back to vihuela in high school for some more. The last couple of years in high school.
That's where it all began.
So that's where it all began, and then it was in school that I started playing with Mariachi Estrella and stuff. I played with other little groups here and there. I started playing with Estrella toward the end of my 10th grade year, and that's all she wrote at that point too. Yeah, so I got into a big group.
So you're already doing pro gigs in high school?
Oh yeah. I was out about 15 years old. I was out about
doing stuff you shouldn't have been doing.
Mom, are you listening? So let me tell you a story about that. Yeah, my mom. One of the first gigs I did. My mom used to have to drop me off at the gigs. My mom dropped me off the gig, and right when she dropped me off, I'm sitting there talking with these guys that are 30 years old, whatever, and then you hear the screaming coming out of the party. Yeah! There's these strippers come running out of the party. It was a bachelor party.
Yeah.
And the first thing all the group did was they all looked to see where my mom was. All you saw was the tail light. She was driving away. They were like, "Oh," they were like, "Oh God, we're gonna keep this one." And I didn't care. I was like, "Oh yeah, movies." So I was excited. But that's what happened there. So it was funny. I was a kid among men back then. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I did a gig. I didn't start playing until May of my senior year, so I was already 18, about to graduate. But the very first group I played with was a Christian mariachi.
Ooh.
Down in the valley. They're from Hidalgo. And it was still it was funny to me because my mom still she wanted to know who was there or people's numbers or where we're gonna go or be. I'm like, I don't know. I don't even know. And I'm like, I can't give you that information. And I just found it very ironic and funny because it was a Christian group.
I think I remember. I think my first gig was actually at a bar.
Yeah.
There at the square.
Okay.
I actually went with Frank. Frank took me on. I think the Irish pub. It was that one.
Yeah.
And I don't remember why, but I was still in middle school. That's when I was starting.
Yeah.
So.
And they let you in.
I mean, part of the entertainment, I guess. So yeah.
You don't know how many times before I turned 21, still my second year here in Austin, I would go with little Alex, so Alex's son, and he loves going to the warehouse. And the warehouse is this place in Austin that it's a bar and they have a lot of pool tables.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so a lot of guys like going there, but Alex just goes there so much that he knows everybody. He knows the bartenders, the bouncers, all that, and. So he's like, just here, walk with me, and then and they're walking with him, and then the bouncer's like, Alex just tells him, oh, he's cool, and he's like, all right, so I get in. He just lets me in.
He's got that VIP.
It was like that with Estrella. Everywhere we went, we did a lot of gigs in bars and stuff like that. In fact, we used to do. I was a junior and senior in high school, and we used to do aficionados. We do the singing contest at Club Carnaval, Club Mexico, these bars, and. There I was at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night going into the bar to do these aficionados with the guys, and I'm 15, 16 now, 17.
Yeah.
And, I just walked right in the bar and, they didn't think anything. I had the traje on and, and they just, oh, yeah, come on in, man. He's just a young guy, but he's okay. Yeah. I was drinking, oh, no, I wasn't. No,
it's all good. It's crazy being in this business at that age because
that age, yep.
Mariachis do play at a lot of bars. That's actually at this moment kind of a thing I miss.
You're playing
at the restaurants.
I haven't played at a restaurant.
Yeah, and and through the years I've slowed down obviously, but with that kind of a life.
Yeah.
But yeah, back then it was an eye opener and it was kind of okay, I guess, to do at the time.
Yeah.
We're having technical difficulties. Alex is over here lifting the mic and straightening it out. I was trying to do it one-handed with the numb hand.
That mic is heavy, man.
They're heavy, man. That's what she said. I told myself I wouldn't say that. Sorry.
You sound like Michael Scott from The Office.
Do I? Well, I was telling Alexis before we did all this that I hate hearing myself, because in the studios too, when you're recording, I'm like saying giving directions. Hey guys, we're gonna do this, and I go, is that me talking?
Is that me?
is that me? And all that. And I remember voicemails too, and all that. I'm like,
yeah,
voicemails that doesn't sound like me. That sounds like some little kid down the street, But so yeah.
Kid. Did you just compare your voice to a kid?
Yeah, it sounds like a little kid, doesn't it? Well, I think so. When I hear it back, it sounds like a little kid. Like y'all are all, and.
You sound like a tenor, man.
Do I sound like a tenor? I'm more of a niner. But but
that was a good one.
Yeah. Well, I was a tenor in the chorale over there at Texas State. I'm a tenor. I am a tenor.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
A tenor by training or a tenor by?
I was a true tenor. My timbre is a tenor. If y'all want to know, I'm an actual first tenor. Even though I don't have a falsetto or anything, I'm a first tenor because of my timbre, and everything. So yeah.
You was hitting those A's like nothing.
Yeah. And if my voice teacher would have heard you say that, she would have said we don't hit A's, we sing A's. She was a German lady. She said that's how she taught. She was an older lady. She passed away some years ago. Great voice teacher.
Oh.
Great voice teacher.
But
yeah, I would hit those A's like nothing. B flats. I got B flats.
Hey, B flats.
B flats. Those
flats.
are too easy.
What about a B?
The money
on a good day?
On a good day, I have a B. Yeah. Nowadays, I don't know. I don't know. I could get a B here or there. But yeah.
That's my dream.
So
that's my dream.
In when you're still in middle school with Mr. Castro, were you attending the Mariachi Vargas extravaganza?
We didn't. The middle schools didn't go. The high schools did go to those events. And then the extravaganza took a hiatus. It stopped for a couple years, and then it came back. I think my sophomore year it came back. So yeah, so it took a hiatus. So we went back, and actually when we went back, Travis and Fulmore didn't go anymore. We went as it was a group of students that had formed a group on the side, kind of like a school group, but not a school group. It's a professional side gig that we did, and I was in that. It was called Hijos de la Capital. And So we went there and we competed in there because back then it was a competition. It was called an open competition. Whether you were a high school, whether you were a professional group or other, anyone can compete. It was at the Lone Star Brewery. And then you had all those workshops that started earlier in the week. And you did those workshops. And it was a lot of fun. Really a lot of fun.
What were some of the guys that were there, the instructors?
The instructors, Mariachi Vargas and Campanas.
Campanas.
Those were your main instructors, the guys from Campanas and Mariachi Vargas. And it was all done in Spanish. I had Nati Santiago because I went to the Guitarron workshop. Even though I was in the group, the guitar player of the group at the time, I wanted to go into the Guitarron workshop. So I was in the Guitarron workshop with Zeke's son, Chris Castro, myself, Tony Thompson, the Mariachi Guadalupanos Guitarron player. They didn't compete, but he was there for the workshops because people could come and just do the workshops. So Tony Thompson. So there was a bunch of us that knew each other. We were there with Nati Santiago. I think that was in 87, 86, 85. No, 86. Anyway, the years get, you'll understand one day, guys. The years get fuzzy. Probably 86, maybe. I'm just going to put it in the middle. 86. Yeah. And I want to say that was one of the last ones that Vargas, I'll say Nati Santiago, but I'll say Vargas in general, actually had control of teaching it by themselves, and stuff like that. And they wrote the music still back then. It was all handwritten, and you had this ugly script of music, but you could still tell what it was, and all that, and you read it, and, because Ruben Fuentes wrote it all out back then, or Pepe would transcribe it, what they had.
Is it true that Nati used to teach the class with a cigar between his pinky and his ring finger?
It wasn't a cigar; it was a cigarette. But yes,
cigarette.
he'd be there playing. And man, I remember some kid, either Arizona or New Mexico. We were in there. They, Violin Wapango. That's why I want to say it's 1986. 86. There was a song that came out that year. 86 for the Mexico, the World Cup. Mm-hmm. There was a kid there because Violin Wapango came out, and he was there like playing the solo and trying to show Nati like y'all do now with Cascabel. He's showing, I got Violin Wapango, and I'll never forget Nati looking at him and just like letting him play. And he's got the cigarette between his finger and starts playing and starts chiming and showing him all this stuff. And he improvised the Violin Wapango solo right there. That back then, if we had cell phones, we ought to have been, right on him. Yeah. But none of us had that. We just got to sit there be in awe, and that kid just afterwards like, okay, you're the king, and all that. So, but Nati, yes, he would carry it there, or he would put it on the edge of his bridge, the top or the nut, near the nut. He would put it there, and he would play. But I remember when that kid tried to do a mano, quote unquote, with him, he had it right there, and he was just playing and showing that kid, look, this is what I was done. Look what I can do.
I have a black belt.
Yeah, I'm a black 7th degree. Black
7th
degree. And he just slapped that kid around.
Wax on, wax
off. But
yeah,
he had a cigarette. He was a chain smoker too. It was constant. Cigarette was constant. Really? One goes out, he'd pull another one out, and he's teaching you, talking, puffing, telling you what to do.
Doesn't even ash.
Yeah. Looking at you and all that. So
if you're lucky, you got some ash on you.
Yeah, you were lucky. You got some ash on you. Now, he got mad at me. I'll tell you all the story.
What?
He got mad at me because it was funny, and I know the others in here would not like to hear the story, but we were all taught, how to finger an E with these two fingers, the first two, which is for your D. Oh, okay. When your E, if you're a guitar player, should be these two fingers, right? And those of y'all in the pod world, I'm showing the first two fingers is incorrect. The E is your third and fourth finger. So anyway, so he starts, and this is me when I'm 14, 15 years old, he starts yelling at me because I'm fingering with these two fingers. And he's yelling at me in Spanish. And back then, I'm a Tex-Mex speaking Spanish, but back then I was nothing Spanish. So I'm just looking at him like, what is he saying? And even Tony and them are looking at me, they're getting yelled at, and no one knows what's going on. And one of the guitarron players says, you're playing the E wrong. You need to be using these two fingers. So those of us that all learned from Travis, all of a sudden they move their fingers, and I'm the one getting yelled at. They quickly change the way they finger it. Yeah. And I adjusted obviously there. And then he said something else, right? Not that goes, it says something else. And the guy goes, he said if you had his book, you would know better. So he was there promoting his, I don't know if y'all know that, Nati Santiago has a little
it's still around
guitarron book with a little album, not a CD, but a record, an LP. So he said that, so he was there promoting it too. If you had my book, you'd know better. And that's how I remember. Oh gosh, But I got called out. I was just, and it made sense. I was the kid in that workshop. I was the kid. So pick on the kid, little fat little.
I know which.
You know what I mean?
I know what you mean, man.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
I'm the kid of your group.
Yeah.
Matt is the little kid that you make fun of.
Adolph's my boss.
Matt's
He's my
okay.
boss now.
He's the kid, but Matt, you know.
No, they don't.
I better stop. Mom might listen to this. Mom might listen to this. Right?
Your boss might listen to this.
Yeah. Your boss might be hearing about all those other gigs you go to also. You know what I mean?
Only when we don't have work, man.
So the other day with Carlos Meda and compadres and
Suroeste.
That was during the week because you don't have any work for me, man.
I know. I know. Without the plantas, man, it's hurting us.
Yeah,
but, I get it.
COVID, man.
Yeah, man needs to take care of his girlfriend. You know, he needs that money.
Yeah. Wait till you get married and you get home and they turn you upside down and shake the money out of your pockets.
The less money, start bullying you around.
Yeah, they're hey, come here. Yeah,
come here. What you got?
What you got?
They don't wait up for you to make sure you're home safe. They wait up to get your money.
They wait to get the money. Yeah. So you played 7 hours? Yeah, show me.
7 and then when you're doing gigs on the Saturday, you can't say you can't like go out and say like say you finish at 12, right?
Yeah.
And you want to stay out a couple hours more, hanging out with the guys. You got to show that money.
You got to show that money. Right? Yeah.
You're like, well, where's those 3 hours that you're supposed to be?
Show me.
That's when you tell them. Yeah, we had a little gap in between gigs. That's why. It was only 4 hours, but we had a 3 hour gap in between. It was not worth coming home. You learn all those tricks. You learn all this stuff. You also learned that when you just
you're giving all my secrets out, man.
When you just want to go hang out with the guys, you put on the traje and say, "I got a gig," and you're really going to the bar, whatever.
Yeah. How many times have you done that?
I speak from experience. Make sure you remember to put your traje back on. Make sure, because I once came home and I didn't have my traje back on.
You had regular clothes.
Where are you at? I was
yeah, you're civilian. Oops. You just had the moño, though. You just had the moño.
Oops.
You ever do that and forget your instrument?
Yeah. Forget your instrument, whatever.
It's just a acapella gig.
I know you went out. Why? Because you're not in your traje anymore. Oh.
But you're working.
Yeah, I was working.
We work every week.
Yeah,
we work hard.
We work hard. Yeah,
yeah, we work hard. And those old ladies grab me.
The old ladies, yeah.
When you were say 15, how was that with the girls in regards to school and high school? Did anybody know you were mariachi or they care?
Me and Eli have a joke going around because everyone knows who I am. And we'll say, hey, it's Adolph. This is Eli. Remember Eli? No, who's that? So we went to school together. So, yes, everyone knew me because of mariachi and because I played it on the side. A lot of people knew me. Even kids that weren't fans of mariachi, they just knew, oh, Adolph's that guy that does this on the side and all that. As far as girls go, I had several girlfriends, but I was always a committed guy. So I had a girlfriend for about 1.5 years there, and a white girl. She was white. She was white. She didn't understand, but she liked being with me. Mm-hmm. And then I did end up marrying one of my high school sweethearts. That was my first wife, and she was actually a mariachi too. So it was understanding.
Yeah, worked out.
Yeah. So if you ever see me, you'll know this. I'm very respectful with women in mariachi, and one reason why is because I married one. So I'm very respectful for women in mariachi because of that.
I feel like it's different dating a woman who is a mariachi versus a woman who's not.
It is different. It is. And a woman who plays mariachi, and when I say plays, like actually played it and then actually goes out there and gigs with groups too, you got to be an understanding husband, boyfriend also. Yeah. It's real different. They understand it more. I think, you were asking me before we went on air about girlfriends, whatever. And all that. But she was probably the most understanding person I've ever had a relationship with because of, I think she did mariachi.
Yeah, because she understood.
She understood what's cool, and I'm the same way. Yeah. Because of her with mariachi and all that. It's all about trust and stuff. So
right.
I joke around about the coming home. Well, no, I'm not joking. But coming home out of traje. But in the end, she was very understanding, and she was my girlfriend in high school for a little while. We broke it off, but we got back together when I got out of high school, and I think we had a much better understanding of each other with our music careers and everything. Because she got a degree in music also herself. So
So then after high school, did you go straight to college, or you take some time off?
I went straight to college.
To Southwest.
I went straight to college. It wasn't the greatest experience. I did a little bit of ACC and UT, but it didn't work out. And so I took a break from school at that point, and went and got married, and did music. Went to a trade school, learned a trade, and what I did was basically, while my wife was finishing her degree at UT, she's a cellist, by the way. She was a cellist. She was finishing her degree. I just basically supported us with the intent that, well, maybe I'll go to school when you're done. Go back. And so I waited to go back to school till I was about 27 when I went back to school. Back to school. So, and that was because I had moved away to Arizona, came back from Arizona, and I thought, man, I just got to get my degree and start teaching, because I had a knack for teaching. So that's why I did it.
So, what was kind of like your whole...
And I went to Texas State after that.
What was kind of your whole deal over there in Arizona? Like, did you want to go and...
Well, Arizona was, that's where Mariachi Cobra came from. And also in California, a lot of the groups there, they find players either from Mexico or from Arizona, the Tucson area, the Caperos, Jose Hernandez, all them guys. And so thinking if I go there, I'll have a shot at moving somewhere else in mariachi world, because I was trying to pursue that at the time. So I went over there. I had a chance to play with Mariachi America, the Gilbert Velez over there. And so I played over there, and we had a planta that was 5 nights a week. It was over there was kind of similar to LA. They own the restaurant. They own it. So you go and you play, and it's a show. It's a dinner show. You're up on a stage, 5 nights a week. Two of the nights you're doing 3 shows. 3 of the nights you're doing 3 shows. 2 of the nights you do 4 shows. And then we would come off stage at the end of the night, and some nights we talon $25 a pop, that group. But it was a 10-piece mariachi. So I had a chance to play with that group. So I took it, thinking, I could feed into one of these other groups eventually, which I had a shot to go into LA and play with the group. And I just ended up subbing with that group for a couple of weeks. It didn't turn into anything permanent. So, but that was my shot to try to make things. That's why I went to Arizona, to just try to keep moving west to try to get to LA.
That's cool.
That was my thing.
Well, how did then how'd you end up trying out for Mariachi Cobre?
Now, Cobre, that was a funny one. Y'all know about that?
I've heard some stories. I don't think Matt's heard of the whole story.
Okay, so Cobre went on a hire looking for a guitar, and they found a guitar player. He was a kid from Arizona, Tucson, also from their hometown, and announced to me or others he didn't want to do it, so he quit. And I happened to be in Disney World right after he quit, and so I was there, and Robert's over there playing, and he sees me, and while he's playing, he walks over. I need to talk to you. What are you doing?
Hey.
And I said, well, I'm just here with my family, man. It was 2004, I believe. 2003 or 4. And I'm just here with my family. He goes, well, stick around. I need to talk to you, man. We got an opening. As you can see, we got an opening. And I just looked at I just thought they were just playing with a small group. So the set ended, and he came over, and he just said, hey, man, our guitar player didn't work out, this and that. And, we're having auditions again, and really everything that's been auditioning, we don't like. Are you interested? And he goes, we know you could play all the instruments and all that, but we're really looking for a guitar player, And I was just like, yeah, you know what? If you're asking, okay, maybe I'm interested. We'll see. He goes, well, let me get Randy. And Randy and I go back years. Randy, I know more than any of them. So Randy started talking to me and giving me the details. Okay, this is what you're going to do. You're going to send your video and everything here, Adolph. I think you're going to be fit. This is what we're looking for. And I started saying, yeah, but y'all, I'm fat and all that. He goes, don't worry, you'll lose the weight, because they're about to look too. Believe it or not. Have you ever noticed that? They're all well fit. They're pretty fit.
Yeah.
So he's like, don't worry, we have gym memberships here, blah, 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 and all that. And I think, you're what we're looking for. So I got home, and I didn't think anything of it. I just broke my thing. But I didn't think anything of it. And sure enough, I get an email from Randy saying, hey, how's that audition coming along? And I went, I guess they're for real. It's for real. So I quickly made it and did everything. And he said, don't try too hard. Send us. He said, since y'all did a CD, send that of your singing. So I sent him a sample from our CD of me singing. I sang Ojitos Traidores and Motivos on our CD. And then I did, he said, we need a son, we need a joropo, and all that done on the guitar. So I did that, sent that over, and they said, hey, we got it. Everything looks good. We'll get back to you. And then I didn't hear back. And then a year later, we went over, and I saw Omar, motherfucker. Omar's a bad motherfucker, though. Have you ever heard this guy? He came from the Los Arrieros in El Paso. The first Arrieros, which were a very solid group, too.
Yeah.
And when I saw him there, I was like, oh, man, no wonder I hadn't heard from these guys. So Randy... Randy's doing this number with me, like, and I just go up and I just go, hey, what's up? He goes, hey, man, I'm sorry, man, but Omar and you at the same time, I would pick Omar too. And he's like, oh, okay, you understand? But hey, if we haven't come up again, so that's just what happened. It's just the luck of the draw at the time. Omar happened to turn in a submission also, and it just seemed stronger than me. Omar's a better singer. I think I was more of a vihuela converting to guitar. We'll talk about that later because I heard you last week, and I was more of a vihuela converting to guitar, and I think Omar was a vihuela, but I think he was guitar originally and went to vihuela and he was going back to guitar, so that's why it was just a better fit. But yeah, I auditioned and I was one of the final two.
There. So close,
but
you were almost in the.
It was almost. I was looking forward to that Disney World gig.
You're waiting for those benefits.
Waiting for those benefits, yeah. But you know what? All works out for a reason. Later on, and at the time I was teaching Wallace, I think. They hadn't opened Lehman yet.
Not yet.
Think, so it was a good thing because Lehman opened and I would have never been there to teach Lehman.
Yeah.
You would have Matt would have never known how to play.
Matt would have never been taught by the master.
He used to sit there. I was in the 6th grade, and he used to sit there all in front of all of us, like all 40 of us.
Yeah.
I'm the master. I got a 6th.
I tell the kids.
Black belt.
I'll tell them, because why? You're the master. They'd all yell. It was like
Cobra.
It was like Cobra Kai with mariachi.
The Cobra
because
Kai
why?
works.
You're the master. That's right.
That was funny.
Would you teach him no mercy?
Yeah, I taught him no mercy on the vihuela. Yeah.
Strike first.
Yeah, I had them joke. I joke around, but I was being serious with them at the same time. But I joke. I'm a 5th degree black belt on vihuela. And they're like, ooh.
Yeah. Some kids are on their knees and bowing down over there.
Can you imagine though how many of them went out of there and asking like other vihuela players, wait, what's your belt? What's your degree?
Yeah. It's funny. I ran into one of my former students, Eric. Is that his name? He works.
Eric, which one?
I guess it's.
He
was in my elementary when I taught elementary, and then he went into middle school. But he was a guitar player.
Oh, okay.
He played mariachi.
Eric, yeah.
He was before you, but he's one of those two. I think that. One day I saw him at Casa Maria's because
Eric, that's Eric, there. Yeah.
He's like, Mr. Ortiz, man, some of those stories you told us, I can't believe I believed them. I just laugh about it. I go, yeah, I know, man.
Yeah.
I go, that's what I do, and I still do that to kids today. I got my 6th graders believing that I beat up Godzilla with my cane. And there was one said, "There's no way," and I said it so many times that he finally man, that's amazing.
It's amazing.
You stick to your story. And they believe you. Remember that with women too. Stick to your story.
It's a talent.
Stick to your story.
Except it never seems to get by the mom. It never seems to get by moms.
Moms know your BS because they've heard it before, not from you, but from the men that you came from. They know your BS.
Yeah.
So where would you say in your career that the point where you really felt you're playing your vihuela, guitarrón, or guitar, whichever, but I guess a combination where it went to the next level?
When I first went to Arizona, I was practicing all the time, so it went to another level there. I was recording too, and I would get hired over there. I don't know. He passed away a couple years ago. With a Sid, and he was with Camperos for like 17 years. He's great violin player, great trumpet. Trompetista, violinista. And he would hire me to do his recording stuff because when he got them, they were all by ear, and I had a quick ear, and I could do it. And then there was other musicians when I was there that would start hiring because they would have scores written out, and I can read a chart like nothing. And so it was over there I started seeing that my value was really high over there. The only reason I moved back was mainly because of the first wife, and she missed her family, but over there, and then we came back. I played here. I know something popped. Yeah. We came back. I played here, and I just kind of kept my chops up, and started trying to get everyone around me to be. I'm not saying that they weren't there, just everyone to have that same feel. It's not I think Austin's always had good talent. It's just a matter of getting that feel and that importance and that need, like they do in Los Angeles and Florida and Arizona and Mexico even, where they're, it's not, it's, over here it's always seemed like it's just a party. No, it's take the music more serious. So when I came back here, I started trying to pursue that more with different groups, Estrella and then Relampago. But yeah, I think my level always, it just didn't taper till, the last few years. But I've always tried to keep it up. Always practiced, worked hard.
Was there anybody that you tried to follow around and pick their brain or study with?
You're going back to the whole Vargas thing. I talked about Nati Santiago with Gitron. I was the same way with Pato from Vargas. Every chance I got, I would hang next to that guy. And sometimes it's not even asking a question. It's just hanging out next to him, and everybody, all the Vihuelas are right around him, and he'll start talking, and you'll grab onto something and pick it up. And if he plays it, he'll play it. We'll quickly all turn around and get it ourselves or something. And so yeah, it was Pato, and then Robert from Cobra, Bobby. Everything he does, there's a lot of similarities, to be honest, between Pato and Robert, because that's who Robert tried to emulate. So if you follow his foot plan or prints, you were pretty much like it. So a lot of things I showed y'all, like I talked about fingerings and all that and stuff, that comes from Robert and Pato, and that comes from Mexico City. That's just the style, the way they're taught over there. And the educational system here in the United States changed it to where it's more comfortable for kids and all that. And
like the fingering for G, for example.
The fingering for G, for example. If you saw Pato finger it, if you saw Robert finger it, you saw these Vihuelas that are, that come from that era. They're fingering it. They don't use their thumb. Their thumb is for the first fret only, or for alternate fingers, and that's it. Everything else is down here, and so that comes from them. So that's what I tried to imitate, was that old school style. I also learned when I was in Estrella from Benito Ramos, and he spent a summer here, and he passed away 94 or 95. He was part of that troop from Mexico City that they crashed on their way to a tour in Ecuador. They hit a volcano. Y'all weren't even born yet, guys. But that was a major crash. Yeah. The mariachi, the ballet folklorico, they all died, and it was mariachi. I can't remember what their name was. Anyway, the Ramos brothers were all in there, and I learned from him. He was old school, and he was Mexico City, but he was a mean vihuela player, and he showed me a lot on the vihuela. In fact, I spent that summer at his apartment every day, and I just went from this level on vihuela to this level, and that's probably where I had the biggest gain in my skills, was with him. And then from there, I just always stacked on after that. I was a junior in high school, and I just stacked on from there after him.
Dang. Wow, that's kind of what.
Whoever asked that, I can't remember.
It was me, but I kind of, going back to the whole fingering thing. Like, I remember you taught us in middle school, when you finger the G, you do it this way. You don't use the thumb, unless it's on the first fret. And then I remember I haven't seen you for years. The first time I seen you was to help you out for a gig in Austin.
Yeah.
Like, hey, what's going on? I haven't seen you in years, man. You're like, oh, this isn't going to be a 15-piece group. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Because you're like, I was in Trovadores, and I guess we had a lot of people.
I had like 12.
Yeah, way too many people.
Yeah. And then the second thing you told me was, who the hell taught you how to play vihuela? Because we had already started a song or something. And I'm like, what do you mean you did? He goes, no, I didn't teach you that. What did I say about the thumb? And I was like, because I had already transitioned to the thumb.
Yeah, transition. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know he does. And by the way, Alexis, he does that a lot. I say, who showed you that? You did. I go, no, I know, I didn't.
I didn't show you that.
I know I didn't show you that. And it just comes from, I know, when y'all go on armonias. If you have teachers that aren't armonia players, you learn it from the armonia before you. In the school, right? They show you, and whatever they learn, they're just trying to emulate. And so, I get it, But if y'all want to play with your thumb, you can play with your thumb. It's okay. it's up to you,
You know what I find myself doing when I teach, because my old high school director has invited me a few times, a good number of times, and then sometimes it's with say people that I know, and they've seen me play like out of the school, and they're like, I'm telling them what to do, how to play correctly and everything. And they're like, why don't you do that? I'm like, don't do what I do. Do what I'm telling you to do. You're finding yourself where you're teaching them to play differently than how you do because you know what you're doing is wrong or some things that you've done. You're like, don't do what I do.
For me, it's kind of like a mechanic. Like you'll never see a mechanic. Well, sometimes you do, right? But in general, you'll see mechanics that drive around like really old, like beat up cars, and they're messed up.
That don't work.
That don't work for some reason. But it's because they know what they have. You know, like they're the master. They're the master. They're the master. So in a sense,
no, straight up. You know, I hear the first time I played with Adolph. You remember the first time we played together, Adolph?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was living in Austin at this time, so this was 2017. I think you probably put up a post, on the page looking for a player. It was for Azul Tequila.
Yeah.
For the planta. And then I messaged, I was like, hey, I'm free. I'm free that day. I think it was, Friday, I guess, because that's when the planta is, right? And so I go, and I was on Vihuela, and I believe you were playing guitarron, and we were kind of short that day. There wasn't a lot of people and not a lot of singers. And so you had your contraption on your guitarron, that thing that like sticks on that you'd stick onto in a car, where you put your phone like for
so
a
I
GPS.
could sing some songs, you
had that stuck on there because you had to sing a good number of the songs. And so I get there, and then you're asking the songs that I know and stuff, and I start saying these stuff like El Becerro, Mi Ciudad, I don't know, whatever this stuff, and you're like, man, Mariachi Amor doing all these show tunes. I'm like, no, that's Texas State. That's when I was with in Lince de Oro with Briseño as a director. And so I remember doing that gig, and I remember one of the first things you told me was like, hey, I'm probably gonna like talk a bunch of shit to you, but it's cool.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Don't take it to heart.
I always tell these people, if I'm not picking on you, that's when you should worry.
There's something wrong,
That's when you should worry. That means I gave up. If I'm not picking on you, that's it. But if I'm saying something to you, it's you. Then you know that he cares, and that means also that I know you can do it, and that's why I'm saying something. The way I remember Lexus.
You're gonna hit the truth. It's a true story.
I caused him a mental block. I tell you about Eli. Well, Alexa's mental block is the end of all our polkas.
That's right.
This guy, the end of every polka, I always thought we're going to speed up, and when we speed up, he loses the beat every time. And I think it's just now it's just a mental block. He's like probably panicked about, oh God, Adolph's going to do this to me again. Let me see what happens. And and we start laughing. We literally start laughing because like, dude, it happened again.
It happened again. Why isn't the same? But the thing is, they tell me we're going to speed up. I was like, okay, but. It's literally like you're driving like 50 on the highway to like 120. Like that's the kind of speed up that Relampago does at the end of the podcast.
That's true, man. But that's how I was for the longest time. Since middle school, I was always fine like playing polkas, but like not at that speed. So when I finally started playing them at that speed with some groups, I would lose it too. But what I started picking up is just, listening to the violins, what they're playing.
I remember I think I started playing on the beat.
and then we we did a gig. I think I helped a group. I think I helped y'all because I think I was on guitar because Tony was there on guitarron. We were somewhere, and so you were on Well, I think I was helping Alex or someone. But all I know is. And so they call a poker like, oh, we're with his group. It's going to work out this time. And Tony, out of habit, knows, oh, wait, that's fine. We're going to go fast again. So Tony goes fast, and I go fast with him. And this guy, I think we caught him off guard. Oh, man, what are y'all doing? It happened again.
I think he does fine with it now. We caught Jarek off guard one time.
I think it's just that it was funny because, after warning him, and we did it a couple times. I think it became mental blind. It's like, oh, God, they're going to do this to me. It's okay, Alexis.
You know what? Alex told me a story about. I'm not sure who he was talking about, but this is my first year playing with Alex, where they were doing a polka, probably Zita in Chihuahua or something, and they had this guitar player who wasn't very strong, and he couldn't play on the upbeat, so he kept playing on the downbeat. But the thing was, he was continuously playing on the downbeat, and he was talking to Alex, saying like, "Sorry, man, I can't fix it." And I was like, how can you talk and play, but you can't?
He can't fix it.
Like, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Dang, that's crazy. He's even apologizing for it too.
He's talking while he's doing it. I'm like, dude, you shouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah. That reminds me of the guy that I wonder if it's the same one. He messed up La Ley de Monte, and at the end, I'm not gonna say his name because I don't want to embarrass him. But if you ever hang at a gig, we'll say his name because it's funny, you know, when we say this story. But he got on the wrong beat and he couldn't fix it, and he said at the end, "Sorry, dog, couldn't fix it. I've never played Los Mandados before." And I went, "And you still haven't? That was La Ley de Monte."
He called him Mandado.
So I didn't just dog him. I double dogged him. You know, and that's just my sense of humor. And some people say, "God, Eros an asshole," and then some people say, "That's funny as hell." You know, some people can see that there's humor in there, and you know, again, he's one of my good friends, actually, to be honest, and so that's why I joked with him like that. You know, and he just looked at me like, "Oh man,
that's cold,
man, I just got burned. I just burned myself too." You know, he was thinking that. You know. But yeah, absolutely. That might have been the same one because that's what you say. "Sorry, dog. Sorry, I think couldn't fix it, dog. Sorry, I couldn't fix it. I can't fix this."
I think by hearing you say, I think I know. I might know who it is.
Yeah, I kind of give it. I do imitate voices all the time. So yeah. So let me ask you, Adolf. You know, I'm not doing Alex. Alexis, I'm just using. But okay,
yeah, you're doing that.
Do Luis. Ready? Luis segment of the day.
Need a half-ass. You know, half-ass. We can do this half-ass.
You know, man, I'm gonna take over for you, man. Did you hear that story?
No, I haven't heard that story.
Where I was leaving when I left for those 8 months. And Luis is like, "Don't worry, man, I'm gonna take over for you, and when you come back, there'll be a spot for you in Relampago, and you don't worry about nothing." Yeah, I was like, cool.
He was feeling good.
He was really drunk.
Yeah. Luis is a good guy. I like Luis. Luis is a good guy.
Yeah.
We were talking about him before we were recording. He's an all-around player. He just doesn't play the trumpet, but he knows his guitar, vihuela, the guitarrón, and violin. I'll pick on him too. He's my son.
Hey, but I was the original son.
The original son.
I was the original. In 6th grade.
They're all my sons. Are the son. I call everyone my son. Anytime y'all get an applause, you're my son. That's how it started. It was actually Oscar. Oscar's like only 9 years younger than me, but we were at a place and the crowd went crazy. He's just sang La Malagueña, and they're all like, oh, and then I wanted credit too. So I go, "My son."
You wanted credit?
My son.
My son.
My son. And they're, "Oh, your son's amazing." Hey. I took credit. I'm like, "My son." That's where that all started. My son.
That's funny.
Asael will do that.
Really?
Yeah. I still do that. If someone gets a good applause, I'm putting my hand like, "Thank you." Thank you. Cut it out.
You're in the crowd.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Cut it out. Your two thighs.
But so then, Adolf, when did Mariachi Relampago come around? Were you the founder, creator?
I was
owner?
the founder. So let me the history. I heard Alex telling, and Alex was trying to say with being politically correct, I guess. You know, but because it does get fuzzy at points. So.
Because it was Estrella at one point, right?
In 1991, 90 or 91, 92, maybe it's 92. I formed it, and we were originally Mariachi Chapala, and I broke off from Mariachi Estrella to form Mariachi Chapala, and I just took a couple players from Estrella, and then I took some guys that were professionals that were freelancing at the time. And then some Travis players, some group from, alumni from Travis. So we made Mariachi Chapala, but then about a year later, we changed the name to Mariachi Relampago because, Chapala represented, Lake Chapala, over in Mexico. And we wanted to be, like all the other groups, something about your region. So we picked Relampago because the Texas weather, lightning, so we picked Relampago. And no one at the time had Mariachi Relampago. So DBA, big time, here we go. So we got Mariachi Relampago. So I formed it in, I want to say 92. And then I told you about going to a couple years later. I left to Arizona. So when I left, I left the group to Alex. So Alex took over, and he ran the group for a couple years. I came back from Arizona, and when I came back, Alex had the group set. He was going good. And Rupert and Mariachi Estrella said, "Hey, Adolf, I'll take you. I need a musical director in the group." So I went to Estrella and played there. And Relampago, even though they had a group there, they were just not fully a full group yet, so something was going on, and so basically they started dwindling, and I said, hey, y'all are my former group, why don't y'all join us here in Estrella? So we merged Estrella and Relampago. But then in 2002, I just was thought, I'm running Estrella, and but yet Rupert's got the name, and I love Rupert and everything, but let me go back to my original group. And so I talked with Alex, said, this was our group, it was my original group, I gave it to you, but let's pull out of Estrella again and make it Relampago. So we did in 2002. So we pulled it out, and then ever since, we've been back since 2002 by ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
It's actually that's a pretty long history. I didn't know it was around for
that. We've been around over 25 years.
Yeah, dang.
25 years? Yeah. 25, 27 years now.
With the second or third place, what was it at the rodeo?
Yeah, in 2013, we went to the rodeo and we took second place. We lost to Pan Am, UT Pan Am.
Yeah, it was pretty much pro group anyways.
Yeah. They were good. We had them on their heels because they were nervous about us. But then they'd been there, done that, and when we got into the finals, it was just, I'll say it was my fault because I thought we could just come up with something in the finals to make it happen, and maybe we should have prepared ourselves for the finals a little better. But also, it's a flip of the coin too. If you go first, the crowd's going to remember the second group that goes, and we lost the coin toss. They went second. We went first. And when they introduced you, we're down in the dirt, and they go, this is group number, I think we were number 5. This is group number 5. This is group number 2. And, they're showing them, and they're on the stage, all glittery. And then we were a 10-piece group, and they're like 16, 17 people. So they looked amazing. They were solid.
Mm-hmm.
They're solid. So I'm not going to say that we deserve to win because they were a very good group, but we wholeheartedly deserved what we got, runner-up. We were better than all the other groups that were there. And we put on a really good show. And I knew we were going to do good. When we were getting prepared for it and practicing for it, I told the guys, I said, we got Jorge, you got Oscar, you got, other veteran singers in the group. I go, you're going to notice when we get there that those are kids. Even though they're 20s or whatever, and I don't mean them kids, I'm just saying like they're not going to sound as dynamic as us voice-wise. So what we got to do is lift our music. And we had Eric on trumpet with Oscar, so we had some good trumpets. We had good violins. We Melissa, the boys, Alex, Richard, and Anthony. We only went with 4 violins. Mm-hmm. And then we had a 4-piece rhythm, me, Tony, Eli, and Jorge. So I knew with our voicings, we were going to be really strong and just get our music up. So sure enough, Jorge and Oscar with their voices stole the show. Everyone was like, oh, these are veterans. And they were writing it in the paper, like the veteran group, number 5, whatever we were, they were calling they have a shot at winning this and all that. So it was pretty interesting. Yeah, we took second.
This is the Houston Rodeo for those who don't know. You Texas people, big event. It's like a month-long thing, isn't it? The actual rodeo itself.
The actual rodeo is a month-long. The Tejano, Go Tejano is a week-long, and I think Mariachi finishes the week-long event at the Go Tejano.
Right. And so throughout all these years in Relampago, did you played basically, full-time. Were you a full-time music teacher, I guess, at this time as well, say early 2000s?
With Relampago, yes. I was always a teacher, whether I was in an elementary or at the high school, middle school teaching, yeah. When I was in Estrella and when I was in Arizona and all that stuff, that's when I was doing music full-time, mariachi full-time. But once we got Mariachi Relampago, that was also the thing, was I took musicians that had other lives besides the music, so that way we don't get burned out. That way we're into the music and all that. You got your benefits. You're more actually dedicated. There, you could have 2 different arguments. Oh, you're more dedicated if you're a full-time musician. You're also more dedicated if you do this out of passion, which means you have another job and you're doing this as a passion on the side.
Right.
So, there's 2 little different arguments. I've been on both sides. I did it as a living. It was my scholarship in college. That's what paid for my living. So, but I like it the way I do it now when I play on the side. And I teach, You
don't. So you're saying you don't miss being out to 3 a.m.
No, I don't. I heard y'all's pod. I was going to talk to you about y'all's podcast that y'all the other day when y'all were talking about would you quit and all that. I wouldn't quit, but there's some things that I would like to enjoy. At the same time. And that's one of the things is I heard him joking like, yeah, but I don't have to play all night long anymore like y'all do.
Oh yeah.
And that is true in this group. In fact, you'll see this in Relampago. The guys are spoiled. Can we just do 3 or 4 hours this weekend and stop? Yeah. We don't want. We don't want want to play longer than that, And it's good because really you're burned out after that anyway. You're starting to get at each other's. And I've seen it with other groups, and all that. They're just like, oh, now you're just going through the motion, and all that and stuff. Or you're getting drunk.
Yeah.
Or you're getting drunk. You're getting drunk, and that's it, So as where we're at, we're pretty happy, getting our amount of gigs in. Now, if we had our plantas too, that'd be even better. But that's not decided by us right now.
Yeah.
And could you, all your years of traveling, playing different states, areas, would you say Austin is a very unique place to play compared to other places?
Yes, I definitely say it. Austin doesn't have a season. That's the best way I'll describe it. Whereas in Arizona, there's a season. It just gets too hot at some points, so they can't do it. In California, there's touring seasons also. San Antonio, in a sense, has a touring season, but you'll notice that a lot of San Antonio players during the winter start coming to play in Austin.
Yeah.
Because it slows down. The river or whatever, you'll see that. They'll start, hey, you got gigs? Oh, yeah. Works great in San Antonio, except right now. And it's no knock to them. That's just the way cities are. But yet Austin, I don't know if it's the kind of city, the culture it is or what, but it's a year-round thing. Where ours, if we have a slow part, maybe January. Maybe January. But once Valentine's hits, man, it's boom. It goes again. And that January hits only because people are broke.
Yeah.
But like,
after Christmas shopping.
After Christmas shop. But everything else, man, all year round. So that's what I think neat about Austin, about anywhere else I've seen or friends I have in different areas of the United States that will play. And I can't compare it to Mexico right now, but I can compare it to the different regions here in the States. And Austin seems year round compared to everyone else. And people do that. Not just San Antonio, by the way. People from Mexico, people from El Paso, people from other cities, all of a sudden they're in Austin gigging for a few months because we have the work year round.
Yeah, Austin is it's an interesting place. You can do a wedding out in Wimberley and then someone's backyard the same day.
Yep, exactly.
And then go play at a corporate event the next day. It's just
and be on the rancho the next hour.
Yeah, and I heard Alex talk about the corporate gigs, how he gets a lot of those, because Austin does have, it's in Central Texas. It does get a lot of corporate gigs with this, with all the technology that's here in Austin and everything. So yeah, you could be doing a rancho, and then a corporate gig the next day. You could be doing whatever. You could be doing a gig for a millennial. Then you could be doing a gig for someone from Mexico. It's just weird how it changes from hour to hour. Even.
It's very diverse.
Very diverse. Yeah. Very diverse.
Oh man, it is. So with that, you mentioned how you were a teacher then. At, so you ultimately ended up getting your degree in music and with emphasis on teaching. So you did. What's that called? Education.
Education.
And where were some of the places you weren't you also a director at UT at one point?
So I was a student director with Texas State, Southwest Texas, and then I went to UT and I taught there for 5 years with the University of Texas Mariachi out there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But so then when you also taught middle school and high school, right? Well, I mean middle school. That's where you met Matt here.
That's where Matt was.
Yeah. Is Matt your number one student? Your star pupil?
My star pupil. No. You know what? No. I'd like to say that, but I can't say that for anyone because I have different spectrums of students out there that still play, or even if they're not playing, something they've accomplished because of mariachi. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so it's. As much as I'd like to say that about Matt, I can't. Now, am I enjoying it? I'm enjoying the hell out of having a former student play. I'm enjoying the heck out of it. When I had Carlton in the group, loved having Carlton in the group.
Yeah.
When I've
super talented.
Yeah, when I had my daughter come in and sub, love having my daughter come in and sub. Other girls that have subbed that played on Olivia and stuff like that. They may not be playing mariachi, but they're singing country now or singing something else. They're doing everything else. So. Yes, it's great to have Matt right now. I can't say he's my favorite because the political answer is just like if you have more than one kid, you don't have a favorite.
That's true.
You don't have a favorite.
Nobody's gonna know.
Yeah. No one's gonna say. You of course, when you're putting him to bed, you say you're my favorite. Don't tell the other. You're my favorite. Don't tell the other. That's why.
In my case, is before I go to bed, before I go to the gigs.
Yeah. That's why I only have one kid, so that way I never had to have a favorite. She's my favorite. period.
You ever just get mad at your daughter? You're like, you're not even my favorite kid.
then they're left wondering, what other kid is there? That's a good one. What other kid is there? That's like me trying to confuse Matt. Say, hey, go pee in the corner, and it's a circular room. You know? Like, what corner? Where? What do I do?
Pee in my hands.
So I was gonna say, I hate to change topic because before I forget, you talked about the guitar the other day and playing with a finger pick.
Right.
I play with a finger pick until I feel loose enough to go back to the flat pick. Yeah. Have you noticed that? I play with a finger pick, and it's funny because you mentioned the guy from Nueva Tecalclan,
right?
And the Camperos at one time had a guy that played with a finger pick on there, and it was because he would bounce back and forth from guitar to vihuela. And so yeah, it's perfectly fine. Is it the right thing? You're gonna have purists that say no, but then again, hey, before the pick was invented, what were they playing with? That's the real purist right there. You know what I'm saying?
Out on that rancho, they're just their hands.
So you know, it's as long as you get a good sound and everything, and that's what really matters. And I think in your case, my case, you're around me. I get a good sound. You get a good sound, then that's what matters. Are you getting a good sound? Is it solid?
Yeah.
So you know, I just wanted to address that. You talked about that on the guitar. And all that. And the same with the vihuela. I heard a vihuela player. I know it's the no-no. I heard a vihuela player wants to play with a flat pick, and I didn't know he was playing with a flat pick until I looked down and went, "Oh, you're playing with a flat pick?" And it was clean.
I've seen that before.
And it was clean. And I was like, "How the heck did he do that?"
Yeah.
You know. And he's like, "Well, I'm a guitar player, so
yeah.
You know,
they really don't care as long as whatever gets the job done."
Yeah. So you know, I'm like, wow, he was getting up slaps in and everything.
Yeah.
Like,
it's crazy.
You know. So just wanted to say that.
How did do you know the story of like how they started playing with the finger pick, like where it came from? Like,
I really don't know. I really don't know on the vihuela.
Okay.
I heard y'all talk about sound, and that is the number one thing is getting that sound out.
Yeah.
And so, but I really don't know that story. I know a lot about history, but that's one thing I don't know where that all started from.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't.
I was just curious because somebody told me that Pato started, I guess either asking for it or because he started like bleeding or whatever, you know, when he's playing.
Well, everyone says that it was because of him it started. I've heard that, but I've never asked, so I don't really know and stuff like that. And he believes in only the one pick. And now you have people that play with two. You have people that play with one that's on the middle instead of the first. You have different, you know, different variations. And so, and then you have those that say no on the pick, you know, get the natural feel, but I do know this about Pato. Pato on certain songs he'll play only, and I've showed you this, one finger, and that's the finger with the pick.
Yeah.
And so it's just for a sound purposes. There's different things. And it's not necessarily that it's a softer sound. It's for that cleaner, just string sound. And so he'll do things like that, or he did, I should say. So it's just all varies.
Yeah, I've seen that with Ismael a la Torre in San Antonio from Galleros Hill. When he was at Tech State, just like a clinic. Yeah, he told us certain things, especially rancheras. He'll just do straight, just one finger.
Just one finger.
And even boleros.
Boleros is one finger because this is your drag. And Pato plays like that. So you get that from them. And Ismael's is, when I was talking about the Vargas days, going to the things, not in my time because I'm a little older than Ismael. But if you ever were around, he was one of those also that was around Pato.
Yeah.
Could take advice from Pato, and Pato would know him by name and say, okay, hey, show him something here or there. So yeah, and he, you know, amazing vihuela player, by the way.
Did you know what one difficulty I had with when I would go back and teach some of these kids in high school is to get them to understand that style, the difference between knowing how to just play the rhythm, read the music, and then interpreting the song. I mean, there's very different ways you can interpret it, but doing little things that maybe they don't think of, or they're like, well, I don't see a difference, I don't hear a difference, and I'm just like, just do it. Just do what I'm saying you're gonna do. It will sound better, especially to the trained ear, and that's who you're playing for, judges who do this for a living. Did you ever have that difficulty when you're teaching?
Yeah, a lot of kids don't understand accents. Okay. Hey.
Like this kid. Right?
Okay.
I was one of them.
Hold on. No, I'm just teasing. But yeah, no, you know, it's because accents make everything, and I try to point out as you get more experience, I just try to teach kids, hey, this is where an accent happens. on your son is it's going to help the guitarron. It's going to help everyone feel that movement, you know, and stuff. Yeah, that's vihuela rhythm in the mouth. Anyway, so, but you know, it gets that feel in there, and it helps drive the tempo better. If you're going to do a speed up, it helps you with that speed up. If you're going to slow it down, it helps with that slow down. But ultimately, if you ever watch, and I learned this a long time ago from Pato and Pepe Martinez and all that at Vargas, one of the workshops, actually, I want to say it wasn't even in San Antonio, it was in Arizona. They talked about, look what the violin's doing, and look how when they accent down on their bows, that's where you should be on your vihuela. And when you get those things down and you start realizing, hey, it's all lining up musically, you realize it. And you were saying how students, when you're just showing something, the students don't get it. They're just, yeah, but put it all together, the violin and the vihuela together with that guitarron and the heartbeat, and you're going to hear that accent makes sense. You know, and I'm not just talking about the accents in a son. That's easy. Well, it should be. But accents even in your boleros, just something as simple as you know, there's different accents that happen in there. It could be on a 1 and 3. It could be just on 1, you know, or it might be one of those songs that does something awkward and does it on 2 and 4. So have you ever listened to bolero and thought something's different about this bolero? That's what, you know, yeah, you just think something's different about it. It's because it's on 2 and 4, you know, and then the kids are thinking, oh, I'm just doing a cycle. Mr. Ortiz is just a cycle. No, it's not a circle. No, there's more to it. There's more to it. You know, there's more to it. So yeah, that's one of the things. If you can have them relate it to everything else around you, you know, and sometimes they still can't. They're like, I don't know, I don't hear it in the violin. Well, you will, or just play a recording and you play along and show them. But that is difficult, very difficult to get them to understand where those accents, where those drags happen. Is it a drag? Is it a roll? What is it? You know, what are we hearing? So, you know.
I figure that part of the problem is, you know, the kids. I mean, I don't know of many that straight up just listen to mariachi music as often as we do. I feel like that's something that you gain by just experience or like just straight up listening to the music more often, right?
I think if you listen to it, but there are a lot of kids that know a lot, and I see YouTubes and all this, and everyone wants to record themselves. And they can do all this stuff, but there's something musical missing. Oh. So they are listening to the recordings, but they're just drawing out what you said earlier, the manicos. They're just drawing out the rhythm. They're not drawing out the heart of it. What's really happening?
It's all technical.
It's all just, and I wouldn't even say technical. It's just rhythmic. It's just because if it was technical, they'd have the right technique going on. Yeah. You know, but so yeah. So you hear that a lot, and I'm not saying I'm perfect either, but one of the things I know now when I listen to something, I'm listening for the accent, where it's happening, what's going on, what are they doing that's a little different, why, you know, and because there's newer strums that come out all the time for us old timers, and when we listen to it, we might like, hey, that's just going back to this, but now they've added a slap here, but I could see where that accent's happening, you know, and stuff, and I can turn around and learn it quicker than I thought, and I would think something like, oh, I could never play that, and then now I'm like, oh, I know all those things because it's the same as what I've done before, just relating to where that accent is and whatever it is. I think of the music. I don't think of the rhythm. And if I think of the music as opposed to the rhythm, it becomes easier. If I start having that mentality, I just got to get this rhythm right. I notice I'm like those kids too, and I'm just playing.
That's how I was until I actually joined recently. Yeah, your group. You know, everything you're playing was very different. When I mean different, I mean like the chords, and there were a lot more, I guess, rhythm changes and stops because it goes with the music. That's what you explained. You said all you said was just listen to the music, listen to what they're doing, you know. And I never really did. You're like, oh, this is what the voice is doing, so that's why we do this chord, or this is what, you know, the violins or trumpets are doing. That's why we do this chord or whatever. So I'm like.
It's a good subject, both of y'all, because you know you'll hear like, oh, the standard arrangement is this. Well, actually, have you ever heard the recording? The recording might not be what you think the standard arrangement is, you know, or something. And because most of the time the composers, they made musical sense, but then sometimes they also just followed a traditional pattern. Oh, this is what you do with the violin part and all that. And then you get the musical geniuses of Jose Hernandez and all these guys nowadays, even the Vargas guys, everyone that now relate it to the chording and all that, and get or even the strumming, the accents and stuff, and they really can make it all musical sense. So it's pretty neat. So I'm not saying we were ahead of our time. We just did a lot of deceptive. Hey, they're dropping down to they're not really doing a full D chord. They're going to an F sharp minor right there, guys.
Yeah.
Let's just go down to that F sharp minor because that's what the violin part's playing. And we start doing that, and oh man,
yeah. For me, it changed something
sense.
like as simple as
it makes sense.
As simple as "Por mujeres como tú." Like it changed it a lot for me. I was like, man, it took me a while to get that.
Relampago G that you guys put in there.
Yeah.
But I've noticed, especially when I started teaching more. So when you teach, you really have to know the song because you have to know what you're going to tell these kids to do.
Yep.
One thing I noticed that Jose Hernandez does a lot, especially with his Reinas arrangements, the accents on the vihuela will match the diction in the singing.
Yes.
And when I started hearing, I was like, "That's cool.
All
That's
of it
insane."
matches. Yeah,
those
all of it
accents. Those.
And I said the relationship with the violin because that's during the musical part, and the same goes with the scene. You're absolutely right. Because what instrument in the mariachi sings besides the singer? The violin.
Mm-hmm.
The violin sings, right? Your trumpet sings too, but your violin's a singing instrument. It's anything that goes musical, whether it's the singing, the diction, dictation, something else. I'm thinking of my kids at school right now. But the diction, the playing and the accents on the violins where they're accenting, coming down on their bows, and the trumpets, the staccato. If they're separating, guess what you got to do in your vihuela? You got to separate. You got to separate. And stuff like that. So absolutely yes, he matches it really well.
He does a good job. But so do you think? Because before mariachi, I played classical guitar. Mm-hmm. That's what I started with. That's I wish I did more of now, but you got to make money.
Yeah.
But also after classical, so there's a period where I was doing classical, flamenco, jazz, and mariachi, and ultimately it stuck with mariachi. But listening to in flamenco, seeing these older, these legendary guitar players talk and everything, Paco Lucia, Paco Cepero, these great guitarists, they'll talk about younger players that are doing flamenco, but they're doing these accents, these runs, these things in their playing, but they're like, do they even know why they're doing it? Do they know why it's there, why it matters? So do you feel like you have to have that passion for that music in mariachi, I guess, in this case, to truly appreciate or understand why you're playing the way you are, or why you should be?
Absolutely. You have to have that passion. This goes back to when we were talking about showing the recordings and telling them it makes musical sense with everything else around you. Because otherwise, if you teach them the accents, they might start accenting, and they might start accenting in the wrong spots because they're just accenting to do it, as opposed to, what's the relationship and all that. So they got to listen to around them. Really mariachi, any music, you got to listen around you. And so when you're teaching kids, one of the things that, became popular when we were doing it was Mr. Maldonado and myself in the high school, him in the middle schools. We had our little iPods, and we would play recordings all the time for the kids. Anything we were teaching them, whether it was our arrangement or what, we would play them a recording so they can hear that relationship. They hear, why are we doing this? So if you're teaching and you're teaching them why, they got to have that passion. They got to hear it. If they're just going to go through the motions, well, you're going to have trouble, man. You're going to have those that just, go through. You have that even in professional groups, those that just go through the motion. And so it never goes to that net. You were talking way earlier in this conversation about going to the next level. Well, going to that next level means your colleagues around you choose to go to that next level too by putting everything in, going all in 100%. And we don't always get that, unfortunately. But even you got to teach your colleagues that. So definitely show your kids what's the relationship. The flamenco, I liked how you talked about that. Yeah, that's a technique they're teaching, right? Because I did a little classical too, but not flamenco. But that's a technique you're teaching too, and and you teach them that, but you got to explain them why. They got to know, or they got to know why. I shouldn't say explain, because probably we do explain and they still don't get it. So we got to tell them why, put a recording, let them hear why, and then all of a sudden their instrument's singing, whether it's classical, flamenco, guitar, violin, vihuela, strumming. You can make. I haven't done it before, but I used to do it with the kids. I'll play a down up strum for several measures and say, listen to this. These are all down ups. And I'll accent and I'll do this, that. And they're like, no, you're doing something different. No, I'm just playing down up, down up. but I'm accenting in different spots, and I'm making it sound like, oh my gosh, this sounds like a amazing joropo or amazing son. And it's just really all just down up strums that I'm putting accents at different spots.
I used to do this exercise where I would do different manicos, but make them all sound the same, like they're doing the same accents. And that eventually made it easier for me, and it made it make sense that I guess I've had other people explain it to me too before, but the strum that you do for an accent should be the same amount of force they use to do like a non-accent, maybe.
Yeah.
So yeah, I used to play around with that all the time a while back. I need to get back to that.
Lawless. There was this one vihuela player from Roma. This is back when I was high school. He doesn't really play mariachi anymore, but I remember seeing him like at Festiva and all these competitions and stuff, and it would like hypnotize me, mesmerize me how he would do his slaps, his down or up slaps, and the angle of his hand wouldn't change when it was a slap or it was just a straight down up. It was just super smooth and clean.
Fluid,
you could hear that slap perfectly. I was like, damn, this guy.
And that mofo doesn't play anymore, right?
And he does norteño now with his bajo sexto and all that. But he was an amazing vihuela player.
Man.
Yeah, he was good. I met him before, actually.
Yeah,
that's
that guy,
amazing.
Alex.
When you see those naturals and stuff that can do it like that, anyone who can make it look easy, that's what it basically is. Comes down to they make it look easy because it's so fluid. Man, that's what we should all strive for. Unfortunately, some of us can't get there, or we have to look like we struggle getting there. But those guys, man, that's your naturals. They're just naturals, man. It's amazing when you see one.
But you talked earlier about that. So you said your playing was always A1, as the younger kids know. No, I don't know. I don't think anyone says A1. But I don't even like A1 sauce, actually. It's not good. Do you like steak sauce?
I'm a barbecue guy, no.
I love steak sauce.
Oh, it's not good. No, but you had mentioned that your playing's been going down recently, and that was after your what was it? Well, I mean, your stroke. Right?
I had a stroke, yeah.
Yeah, stroke a few years ago. How long it's been now?
It's been over 2 years now.
Over 2 years. And what was that like? I mean, coming back from it, did you think that you were not going to play anymore? Or?
It's, I was worried about it. I know you hear that air or something. I don't know.
Oh no, it's just the AC.
Oh, it is? Okay. We had a concert, Noche de Mariachi, like literally 1 month after I had my stroke. And I even took my stool just in case. So I did it. I pulled it off. And, I still don't really feel in this hand. And so this is all instinct, whatever I do. Just instinct on this hand. But in the last year, it's gotten worse for me. It's weird because that first year out of the stroke, I still at least had some abilities. But you just kind of deteriorate through the years. So I think just deterioration with age and after that has hurt me, and I have to make up for it with just experience, man. That's all there is to it. I can still do some things. It's just the fatigue factor. How long can I do it? I can't do it back to back, like like you young ones can, and stuff like that. I can't play cascabel 3 times in a row,
So then, can you still do guitarrón comfortably, or?
I do it, but after by third hour, I start falling apart on the guitarrón. Or was it the fourth hour? What did we do the other day? It was the fourth hour.
It was the fourth hour.
The fourth hour. Yeah, my hand just, because this hand, I can't tell if I'm damaging it. And, when you start blistering and cramping, this hand just says, screw you, I'm done.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to have to will it to do something because it's on its own reacting and saying, I can't do it. So I force it. So that last hour I'll be muffling or whatever, trying to figure it out to get through it. But I mean, I can play guitarón, but after about 3 hours, it's pretty shot because of just the fatigue factor.
Mm-hmm. Tell you what, man, you still sound better than most people around this area. a lot of people.
That's because why I'm the what?
Because
you're the master.
How many people listening right now answered that question before you, Matt? Because they've been
they're
listening.
all students of Adolph.
All students, right?
He's the master. He's the master.
I remember. They're laughing. What is he not the master? Why are they laughing? No, and it's because even though I fatigue, I still got it in me for whatever time I got to do it. And and you'll hear this. even if I play a basic line on the guitarron, just like the down up strums on a vihuela, I can play a basic line on the guitarron and make it sound good and strong.
Yeah.
I can make it sound really strong. I don't have to do runs. I could just do, solid notes with prepas, and that's it. And you're gone. And you know what I'm going, you know what I'm doing, and you got a beat, and that's what matters, I guess, ultimately.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Keep it basic, right? None of this Vince stuff. Have you played with Vince? Have you played with Vince?
I have not. I've always wanted to, because that kid, he's I call him a kid because I remember when he first started on the scene. I just know who he is, really. And I've seen his talents grow just through videos and everything. And I heard he's amazing. And from what I've seen, he's amazing.
Yeah, he is.
So, I'd like to hear him on guitarron. But, just like Nati Santiago with a cigarette in my finger. You want to go mano a mano with Vincent? No, I'm just teasing. I'm just teasing. I can go mano a mano 5 minutes and then I'm done. No, I'm just teasing. Anyone who's innovative nowadays, I appreciate and stuff like that. I was innovative at one time on the guitarron. I just now keep it to where it's about the guitarron. And
I heard
sound.
he used to do the whole Jesuita en Chihuahua melody.
I could do the Jesuita en Chihuahua. I could probably still do it now. You get one shot at it and that's it. And, but I could do it.
You have to do it the same speed that we end the song.
No. I used to. Now I can't. Now, yeah.
Jeez.
I used to do that. I used to do that.
That's crazy.
I did that because Mr. Castro's son did it, and so challenge accepted. I saw someone else do it, so I could do it.
Yeah.
I used to be able to do that. I'll play the melody or Perlitas. I used to be able to do all that. Yeah.
So, what are you up to now these days? Are you still playing? Still teaching?
Still playing. I teach, but I just teach. I became a special ed teacher years ago. I stopped teaching mariachi, and then I started teaching just recently this past year. I just started teaching 6th grade, general 6th grade. So I teach all of it: math, science, social studies, and English language arts. So that's what I do now. I do that and play mariachi at night, and but I enjoy it because I still get to teach because I like teaching. Either whether it's music or what, I like teaching, and I like playing music. I don't think I'll stop. I heard y'all talking about quitting, and I enjoy time off, but I wouldn't want to quit. And first of all, the money is still decent. I don't want to say good because of COVID, but it's decent. And then secondly, because of COVID, I learned what it was like to sit around and not play music on the weekend. It's like, oh, dude.
Yeah.
Oh man, I gotta play. I gotta do something. So,
you're gonna do it till the day you can't.
Yeah, which I still can with a stool.
Thanks to Matt.
Thanks to Matt. Yeah, although Matt sometimes runs away from me, and I'm like,
I forget. I'm sorry, man.
I'm carrying a stool and my guitar and
it's good
and money from the customer. And
it's good when we finish, clients like want to shake your hand and stuff. So I'd be like, in my mind, I'm like, nope, I'm dipping.
But see, if you grab my chair right away, they can't shake your hand.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's true. It's like I got the vihuela in one hand.
Yeah, you have a vihuela in one hand. He just bumped my shoulder. Yeah.
I'm starting to remember now. Like now, every gig I've been there recently.
But I'm trying to improve my health. I mean, this past weekend, the first set, I think I sat down on 3 or 4 songs total. Second set, I got weak and I had to go back to sitting down. So luckily the customers, they even recognize me because of it. But the customers are understanding. It's like that in society now anyway. If you go to school now, you do accommodations for people. Now you go anywhere else, there's accommodations for people that have it. So why not musicians have accommodations? So at one time I would have said that's a no. But got to do what you got to do. Plus, I don't have enough musicians to always play, so I got to play.
Yeah, we know what that's like.
Yeah.
Matt quitting on us,
Yeah, Matt.
I was telling
you know
Alex,
that guy Matt. He likes quitting groups. I don't know if he knows.
One time,
and then I'll have to block him.
No, I have heard that before. That I joined a lot of groups. I think I did a gig with Jimmy. We did a gig with Jimmy one time when his violin fell apart.
Oh yeah,
that day.
Yeah,
Jimmy Olguin.
Yes,
his violin exploded.
It exploded, bro. Everything just fell apart.
I got this new violin shop, and this is one of my new violins. I want to show you how I'm going to practice on it today.
The first 2 notes he played.
You ain't going to sell that one. I'm just teasing.
He spent the whole gig trying to fix it. Anyways, I think what was it? Jimmy came up to me. He's like, every time I see you, man, you're with a different group. Every time I play with you. And then what did you say? You're like, yeah, he changes groups more than I change.
Yeah, he changes groups more than I change underwear.
So yeah, I do hear that a lot.
That's not often. So damn. Man.
That's not too bad, actually.
It's not too bad. No, I was telling Alex that the reason why I joined you guys is because I know how knowledgeable both you and Eli too.
Yeah.
Like, and y'all played together for a really long time.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to get better at my instrument and even learn maybe possibly more. Right now I'm practicing the guitarron.
Yeah.
And it's because you showed me a lot of stuff already.
Yeah. The one thing about playing with me and Eli, because me and Eli we play all the instruments too of the rhythm.
Yeah.
Is you'll become an all-around rhythm player. I'll say that with anyone who plays with us. They'll become an all-around rhythm player. They'll understand guitarron better. They'll understand their vihuela or the guitar, whatever they're playing.
Yeah.
And me and Eli, Eli especially can be, a penis. There's another word for that.
Yeah.
And me, I could just be, I could be harsh, but at the same time, I'm showing you something. But we can be hard, but we're actually showing you stuff when we're doing it.
Yeah.
We're just doing it in a way that, to make or break you. You're either going to learn or you're not. If you're going to be offended and not take it, then you're not going to learn. But if you can handle it, man, you're going to learn a lot.
No, I mean, and I've always that's how I've always learned, I mean, even when I was with Israel, like he was kind of my break out of that comfort zone that I've been in for so long, I guess, as a mariachi musician. I've always been stuck in the same place, and I've always admired that though, like that people are willing to actually, help me out, and so that's what I just wanted to take that opportunity and get better. That's why I took off. It's not always about the money for me.
Yeah,
at least personally.
Money's good, but money's a good reason to join a group. But at the same time, just musically to build yourself up.
Yeah, no, we still are making pretty good money.
We're making good money. Yeah, we're making good money. If I wanted to, we talked about being a full-time musician, because I think Austin can do it. I could quit my teaching and become a full-time musician and push the hell out of Relampago, and we'll have gigs because we get all the calls. It's just we can't do it, because there's a lot of us that have day jobs. Because it's out there, the work's out there. But I like benefits. I like benefits. I like that guarantee.
That Social Security.
Yeah. So. Yeah, in my case, teacher retirement, but so I like that. So it's hard to let that go, but
quickly, do you have any memorable time either competing as a student or as a director, where it's just like something, a violin blew up or something?
I just as much as I enjoyed being at the Houston Rodeo with Relampago in that year, and we took second, it would have been nice to take first, but getting second was like taking first in another category.
Yeah.
But I always enjoyed taking the school. That was probably more fulfilling to me with Layman. And those last couple of years when we started coming home with the best voices in class or this and that, and best sections and things like that, and then our JV group doing better and winning awards too. Was really, we didn't get to where I know that the students wanted to ultimately win, but that's a hard goal against those. Back then, they didn't have them 485. You were just one big giant school category, so we were going against Roma and all those other ones, and that's just a hard thing to do with the limited amount of directorship we had. We had me and Mr. Maldonado, and that was it. We didn't have violin instructors and rhythm instructors and all that, and he was basically a trumpet violin instructor, and I was basically a rhythm instructor at our school. So, but it was good to see the kids how hard and far they came, and I liked competing with them, really did. So taking Layman to the different, whether it was in Corpus, whether it was in San Antonio, wherever we went to New Mexico, their senior year, some of them for their senior year. So Las Cruces, there it is, Las Cruces. So we really had fun. I like taking the kids to the festivals and competing, because I think that was more fulfilling, because that was when I would write out the music, Mr. Maldonado, write out the middle school stuff. I wrote out the high school stuff. We had the sectionals. We did all the rehearsing. It was just a lot of dedication to it, not just from me, but from the students. So I really liked it. It was really what I really enjoyed.
You would think it would be easier to teach professional musicians than kids, but I don't think it is.
It's not. Professionals, you're adults. There's other things in your life. We don't rehearse right now. We only rehearse as needed, and you haven't even been in that situation, Matt. We only rehearse as needed because everyone's got their life. As professionals, you got your life. Now, if you were constantly doing shows and everything like that, then all of a sudden you make the time to rehearse all the time. But if a concert's coming, then we get together and rehearse. If there's a song that's just we're struggling on and learning, then we'll say, hey, let's get together. But most of the time we just send a YouTube, hey, this is the song we're trying to do. And my expectation is I hope you listen to it and learn it, and all that, because we're going to call it out at one of the gigs. Be ready. Yep. So that's just the way it is, now and stuff like that. So if they're expecting that of me, because, these youngins, they'll come in with these new songs. Hey, this song, and I'm like, me and Ida look at each other like, what? Like, what is going on with it? And so then Luis will send us a YouTube, and okay, I'll learn it. Send me a YouTube, I'll learn it, or something, and the other day, your song, I hadn't played that till we played it a few months ago, since I was in Arizona over 20 years ago. And then, but the other day, Eli, I don't know it. And I just looked at Matt and I just said,
something else.
I just said, yeah, let's not do it. Let's not chance it. And it wasn't because Eli didn't know it. It's just that I just didn't want to take that risk because it's a chordy song and I was on guitar. And I have to play that E flat and the A flat and all that and B flat minor. Yeah. And I just thought, I'm not going to have time to look at Eli and say, this is what we're going to do. Because I'm going to be busy like this.
Focusing,
on my thing. And whenever that happens, I'm no use to anyone around me. So yeah. So you're right. Professionals, it's a different ball game, man. It's a different ball game.
Yeah. But it's been fun having you here, Adolph, with our
thank you.
Is our third guest now?
Yeah, we were all
guest
over the
number
place.
3. Yeah, we were.
Yeah, we were.
Y'all didn't know. Y'all were supposed to have special questions for me. I guess y'all didn't.
I mean, that's Matt's fault.
But that's okay.
Why?
You're supposed to put the questions up.
What?
Yeah, it was me, but I'm just blaming on you. No, honestly, I didn't have time. I had 2 tests this week.
That's okay. This was fun because I like the loose talk and listening to Miguel Guzman talk about their scene over there and his philosophy of mariachi. Then hearing Alex's business sense, and then me. I guess we're just chilling.
No, I mean, to be honest, like I learned a lot, like by you explaining everything here right now too.
Yeah, I guess here we talk more about the passion behind the music.
Yeah, the passion behind mariachi. That sounds like an episode on Netflix. The passion behind mariachi.
This is gonna be on Netflix one day.
Is it gonna be on?
It's just gonna be this podcast, but with a camera.
Oh, we're gonna be like the DJs where they do their own podcast. They're videotaping too. Yeah.
I think eventually that's gonna become like a thing, like a TV show. Probably like podcasts are gonna be TV shows. It's gonna be them sitting there talking.
I think so.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
Weird. Okay. But so this has been episode 12 of Los Mariachi Sagas. I want to thank Adolph Ortiz from Mariachi Relampago for coming out.
Thank you.
Doing this.
Welcome, guys.
This has been fun. Any plugs you wanna throw in there, Adolph?
Just call us if you need a mariachi. Remember, we max out at 3 or 4 hours a Saturday.
The exclusive, limited.
Yeah,
you gotta book in advance.
Yeah. Especially if TFB is out and Adolph's on guitar one.
And I mean, if y'all want, I mean, you should put that out there, like for them to have a special stool for you. A nice cushioned and
I got my stool. It's special. It's already special.
It's a good stool, man.
It's a good stool. Yeah, but
I couldn't close it the other time.
Matt sat on it before. Matt tried to close it the other day. I turned around while I was singing a song. I turned around. There was Matt sitting on the stool. You like it, right? Yeah,
it's comfortable, man. It's good stool. Anyway.
No, but so yeah, I mean, thanks for you guys for listening. Thank again for Adolph coming out and Matt. It's been Los Mariachi Sagas. We'll see you all on Tuesday or Wednesday.
And thank y'all for having me.
Yes, thank you. I'll see you guys.
See you. Come on, guys.
Los Mariachi Sagas. Los Mariachi Sagas.